This is the story of how, in 2025, one man created Pokemon trading card history. But how did we even get here? When you buy something online, you probably take some comfort in seeing those words. Buyer protection. It sounds reassuring. If something goes wrong, if the product never arrives or it's not what you expected, you'll get your money back. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Buyer protection isn't really about protecting the buyers. It's about protecting the platforms. Because companies like Shopify, PayPal, and eBay discovered long ago that it's far more profitable to side with the buyer. It keeps more people comfortable making purchases, which means more transactions and more fees. And for the most part, that's okay. When everyone is acting in good faith, both buyers and sellers work well together in this system. I've benefited from it personally. I once bought a card listed as light play, and it showed up beat to pieces. Thanks to buyer protection, I got a full refund. That's the system working as it should. But of course there is a dark side. People that exploit the system by strategically committing fraud in ways that they know will be safeguarded under buyer protection. So there is a cost to the comfort that we as buyers enjoy. And it's often paid by small businesses and creators who end up footing the bill for buyer fraud that's almost impossible to fight. Some business owners shutter their doors. The margins in industries like trading cards can be painfully thin, and when that happens, we all lose. But thankfully, that's not always how the story unfolds, because sometimes a scammer messes with the wrong person. Meet Sean from Pokevault. He runs a massive channel and online store, selling singles, pack lots, and mystery packs. The kind where you could pull anything from vintage grails to modern chase cards. But recently, he found himself on the receiving end of a $7,000 chargeback scam, a method of fraud that weaponizes Shopify's own buyer protection system against the seller. The scammer, who has a documented history of financial fraud, purchased over 60 of Pokevault's latest mystery packs in 2 separate transactions, totaling around $7,000. Of course, that is a lot, and it could be suspicious. So Pokevault did his due diligence. He made sure the billing and shipping addresses matched, saw the buyer had a real social media presence, and seemed from the outside looking in to be completely legitimate. Plus, rip and ships these days are extremely prevalent on platforms like YouTube and whatnot, and it's not uncommon for these streams to include mystery packs from large creators like Pokevault, so he shipped them. $7,000 worth of product to someone that had no intention of paying. And somehow, it turned out to be the best decision Pokevault has ever made. The method of fraud in this case is unfortunately the cause of many sleepless nights for small business owners: the chargeback. If the safeguards under buyer protection are not strictly adhered to, the credit card companies and platforms like Shopify can essentially undo the financial component of the transaction. In this case, Pokevault saw the funds disappear from his account pretty much overnight. That's $7,000 gone. Of course, at this point, the scammer had already received the mystery packs. He just claimed the product was unacceptable. And here's the thing, you would expect a claim like this to be impossible to prove or disprove. That's why it's such a prevalent scam. How would we ever know if the Pokevault mystery packs came damaged or didn't arrive at all? Well, we'll get into that in a bit. Because for just about anyone, being on the receiving end of a fraud at this level would be absolutely devastating. And this case was no different.
Seriously panicking, because that's a lot of money. You know, that's a huge... I was gutted and fully just in a weird place mentally that this would happen.
But what happened next would turn this from a story of theft into one of the greatest moments in Pokemon TCG history. Lying and stealing is one thing, but kicking a man while he's already down is something else entirely. So let's back up a minute. Alongside 99% of the world's population, Pokevault started his channel during the pandemic. Since that time, he has consistently been creating fun and interesting Pokemon TCG videos, alongside his regular and highly entertaining pack opening live streams. You'd be hard-pressed to find people in the community that don't view Pokevault as a positive presence in the Pokemon space. But as I've come to learn on this platform, it's not always smooth sailing. Some months it feels like you're on top of the world and like you can do nothing wrong. And other months it feels like you're a complete loser and no one likes you. Don't respond to that in the comments. And you can tell yourself that's just the nature of the beast, but it doesn't matter. When you're right there in the middle of it, that's all you see. Either the line going up or the line going down. And at the time, Pokevault was seeing the line going down. He even made a highly unconventional video talking about it.
I've been kind of experiencing a little bit of, I'm gonna say burnout.
So shortly after Pokevault publicly goes on record saying that things are feeling tough, he gets scammed for $7,000. You could only really imagine how that must feel. So there it was, 3 choices in front of him. Let this be the blow that took him out of the game, take it on the chin and move on, or come back swinging. And thankfully, he chose number 3. Let's take a look. Something strange happens when you decide to open Pandora's box. Because if you're ever on the receiving end of a scam like this, the first thing you do is ask yourself, how am I gonna get through this? And what is my next step? Thing is though, this type of scam is rarely, if ever, an isolated event. Like I mentioned earlier, this particular individual has had a history of sketchy financial transactions. But even so, no one could have predicted exactly how far down the rabbit hole things went. Because as it turns out, Sean wasn't the only victim. Not by a long shot. Dozens of people started to come out of the woodwork, noting that this exact same chargeback scam happened to them. And the range here was incredible. From small business owners that actually did shutter their doors as a result of it, to the biggest names in the industry, including PokeRev himself, who has also been scammed by the same person.
PokeRev confirmed, if we can put something up, David, $2,684.
In very short order, it looked like this one person had scammed a multitude of people for a total of well over $100,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be around the $100,000 range is what I'm guessing.
And it was at this time that Pokevault did something truly incredible.
But for those people that were brave enough to step forward, to help me out, to, bring me information, to, show me how they got, really get vulnerable and show me how they got scammed as well, because it's probably not the funnest topic. I'm going to be reaching back out to you guys to make you guys whole, and to, I'm just gonna PayPal wire you guys
an unknown amount to an unknown number of people. No charity requests, no GoFundMe, none of that. Taking it on himself, already $7,000 down. Oh yeah, and did I mention Shopify denied his chargeback appeal, even with all of this.
This text message thread. It shows Cody Bubblebeam literally taking a picture of my product, trying to sell all 72 of them. That's exactly how many he purchased.
That's right. Conclusive and damning evidence that this product was not in fact damaged or unacceptable, but rather on the market to be resold. From the entire Pokemon community to you, Shopify, just do better. Just because Pokevault never explicitly asked the community for help, that doesn't mean help never came. Because there is one lunatic out there that provides thousands of people with extremely costly entertainment every month. That individual goes by the username Carrington, but is also known as Pokescooter of the game shop Lord Rush Collectibles, located in Frisco, Texas. And in case you don't know Carrington, he's the kind of collector who opens vintage boxes like their booster packs from Target, out of pure generosity. And to aid Pokevault on his promise to compensate every chargeback scam victim, Carrington donated a box of, well, just watch this.
Thanks to Pokescooter, aka Carrington, aka on the behalf of Lord Rush and his shop, they have donated this, guys. I mean, he's right there. He's in the chat. Pokescooter with the 20 gifted, guys.
In case you don't know, these boxes are pretty much non-existent on the open market. And when they do appear, they go for well over $10,000. But Carrington wasn't done. Check this out.
I think he bought them heavy, from what he told me from the gentleman, because I don't have a scale. But he bought them heavy. But I mean, just look at these packs, guys. It is absurd. Not all of them he can confirm are, but he said the rest of them are unsearched, unweighed, everything, unscanned, whatever.
Now, being the actuary that I am, I created a chart. The x-axis is your familiarity with vintage Pokemon, and the y-axis is how much your heart rate likely spiked when you saw those packs. And one pack in particular. Did you catch it? It started with a YouTuber who was having a down month, or multiple months, who then got slammed with a $7,000 chargeback scam a denied appeal, and literally no recourse. But Pokevault fought back, doing everything in his power to not only compensate others that have been scammed, but also to try and make sure that this type of thing doesn't happen in the future to other small business owners. Then it was the community. Carrington donating tens of thousands of dollars worth of vintage Pokemon product to help Vault help the victims.
He gifted this.
And it was the lunatics that bought single packs worth hundreds and even thousands of dollars to help the cause, and let's be honest, fuel the gambling addiction that I think we all have. Just a little bit. All of it. Everything led to this moment. And then somehow things get even more ridiculous. But let's check this out first.
A little bit less risk. Very rare pack. Michael F here, let's do it! Michael! If anything, the reverses in this set go absolutely buck wild. EX Deoxys, guys. $100,000 booster box. Do the mathematics. I mean, just give us a haul at one time.
In case you aren't familiar with Pokemon card values, if this card grades a Gem Mint 10 with PSA, it sells for upwards of $100,000. Could you imagine being Pokevault in that moment, holding a rectangle of cardboard that could be worth more than a down payment on your home? Yeah, I mean, who hasn't been there? Needless to say, this is the biggest pull the Pokemon YouTube community has witnessed in years. There's first edition Charizard, but really not much else comes close. Gold Stars are some of the most sought after cards in the entire game, with their stunning artwork, incredible history, and seriously abysmal pull rates for the time of about 1 in 72 packs. Take into account that there are 3 gold stars in EX Deoxys, and you would have to open 216 packs to have a good chance at pulling the gold star Rayquaza. So yeah, finding one in a single booster pack is pretty unreal. Now I did say that this was only the beginning, because while this is definitely the best card Pokevault or anyone could hope to pull out of a booster pack, it is still incredible what happened next. From the brink of burnout, Pokevault then went on one of the hottest pull streaks in Pokemon TCG history. Let's check some of these out in order of least to most insane. The Hidden Fates Shiny Vault Charizard GX is the chase card of the set. Raw, it goes for about $500. In PSA 10, it's closer to $1,500. Imagine pulling that card 16 times.
One more from the... Oh my God! Ah! Oh my goodness! Okay, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Now we go from Hidden Fates printed in 2019 all the way back to 2002 with the release of Pokemon's first ever reprint set, Legendary Collection. The first card to get excited about is the reprint of the Dark Blastoise Holo from the original Team Rocket set released in 2000. An incredible pull in its own right, coming in at about $200 raw and over $1,000 in a PSA 10. But what makes Legendary Collection now sell for upwards of $2,500 a pack is the Firework Reverse Holo slot. And the Snorlax Reverse, that's a top 10 hit, really only coming in behind the Starter Evolutions, Pikachu, and some other crowd favorites. So finding these two together in the same pack, it really doesn't get much better than that. Latios and Latias GX Tag Team, aka the Lovebirds, is the card that headlined the Sun and Moon era tag team explosion. Team Up boxes, only about 6 years old, now sell for $5,000 to $10,000, in large part because of the Latios and Latias chase, which goes for over $2,000 raw and close to $10,000 in a PSA 10. Of course, none of this tops the Rayquaza Gold Star, but then again, nothing ever will. So what you just saw was the cherry on top for one man taking a truly awful situation and turning it into something incredible. Something that I believe is one of, if not the greatest moment in Pokemon TCG history.